So a day after Trump went back into office, he attended an inaugural prayer service, and the bishop speaking at the service struck a chord with Trump and his base. I'll link the clip that put MAGA into a frenzy in the description, but basically, she asked Trump to have mercy on migrants and LGBTQ plus people, as those two demographics are routinely at the brunt of MAGA's ire and are especially frightened at this current point in time. And she even made a distinction between migrants that come to this country and work jobs that, let's be honest, most people who are born in this country don't want to do, like washing dishes in a restaurant or working the night shift in a hospital, or, and she didn't mention this one, but landscaping also, that's a big one too. And migrants that come to this country to sell drugs and commit crime, which is what Trump and his ilk want to paint every migrant who crossed the border as. But the gist of what she said to Trump was just have some basic empathy for vulnerable and frightened groups of people in this country. To me, that's a no-duh statement and should be the foundation of Christianity. Have basic compassion for those around you, even if they may indulge in behavior or actions you may disapprove of. Hate the sin, but love the sinner. Anyway, how did supposed Christian devotee Trump react? The so-called bishop who spoke at the National Prayer Service on Tuesday morning was a radical left hardline Trump hater. She brought her church into the world of politics in a very ungracious way. She was nasty in tone and not compelling or smart. She failed to mention the large number of illegal migrants that came into our country and killed people. Many were deposited from jails and mental institutions. It is a giant crime wave that is taking place in the USA. Apart from her inappropriate statements, the service was a very boring and uninspiring one. She is not very good at her job. She and her church owe the public an apology. Well, I'm with them on one thing. I can't imagine anything more fucking boring than a church service. But nasty in tone. If you haven't seen the clip already, pause the video and watch it now. I don't know about you, but to me she sounded like what any other person giving a sermon at a church would sound like. I think I know exactly where the nasty part comes from. Well, one, he perceives it as a woman talking down to him, which I'm sure makes him feel very upset. Two, in general, he's just fragile as fuck. Even asking for basic compassion out of him towards groups of people he routinely attacks, he perceives as an attack towards him. And yet this is the guy who is supposed to be so brash and offensive and make the woke left's heads constantly explode. Someone who can't handle an extremely tame plea for compassion. And it's not just Trump complaining that she made her sermon political, it's also his base, unsurprisingly, claiming this. Why did she have to shoehorn politics into the church, even though I'm sure a lot of these same people want Christianity to be shoehorned into public schools? The closest thing to a political statement she made in that speech was her mentioning Democrats, Republicans, and independents. Even then, it was within the context of these people who ascribe to different political beliefs from your own are children of God too. So don't just serve and have compassion for only those who are in your lane politically, but rather be a fair and compassionate president for everyone in this country. And it is so telling that such a basic-ass message is enough to anger MAGA. You even had J.D. Vance in the clip as she was saying this, looking over to his wife like, get a load of this fucking bullshit. What I hate about so many fundamentalists, especially in this country, is they don't care about religion when it comes to having compassion for others, and loving and tolerating those regardless of who they are and how different they may be from yourself, but rather they use their religion to push even more hatred and division, and that is all their religion means to them. It is used as a justification to be as vile and bigoted as possible, and then used as a shield to say, well, I'm just conducting myself the way God would want me to. But it goes to show how artificial their religious views are when they are quicker to defend their precious Trump than to even listen to a bishop saying, hey, maybe you should have more compassion for those who you routinely attack. And saying have more empathy for other people, especially those part of vulnerable groups, shouldn't even be construed as a political statement at all, but rather taken as just conventional wisdom. And I don't even think what she said was particularly religious either. I'm not a religious person myself, but I still wish that more people in this world were just at least a smidge less apathetic towards others. It's called basic morality, something that doesn't need to be derived from religion, and something that Trump and a lot of his supporters seem to lack. And I think it speaks volumes about these people when they think that asking for basic compassion is a woke agenda or too political political. But these aren't serious followers of Christianity when they are also devoted to a man who, according to their Bible, will never enter the kingdom of heaven. It's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. Trump wasn't some fucking street preacher before he became president. He was a corrupt billionaire real estate tycoon, born into wealth. One of his signature policies during his first administration was more tax cuts for the rich. His second administration seems more concerned with making people like Elon Musk, already worth hundreds of billions of dollars, even more rich than it is with actually benefiting regular people in this country. And he can't even quote a verse from the Bible to save his own fucking life. When asked what was his favorite Bible verse, he was like, oh yeah, there's plenty of good Bible verses, there's just too many to choose from. Yes, that sounds like a very holy man who takes his religion very seriously. But perhaps I'm wasting breath because no matter what you say to evangelicals, they're always going to think that Trump is one of them. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Bye-bye.